Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites, whiskey reviews with an 80s twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and welcome to another Thursday night live stream. So, first of all, I've been gone for a while, so good to see you guys again. It's been way too long. I have been on vacation for the past couple weeks, traveling around Europe. So, if you've been following me on Discord, well, first of all, getting over a bit of a cold. Also, I'm using the wrong mic. Let me try something. There we go. Can y'all hear me a bit better now? I think that sounds a little bit better. There we go. I was like, something's wrong. But also, yes. So I was in London, I was in Amsterdam, and I was in Paris. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the time off. Definitely needed it for a break from work and just everything crazy. But I'm back, and I brought along some goodies from each of the locations I visited. So tonight is all about English whiskey, which I didn't know was a thing before this trip. So I made a goal of wanting to try something distilled from every location I visited. In London, the typical thing is gin, so I did have a lot of gin that was distilled in London, but I did learn that there is actually a whiskey distillery in England. So it's in the Derbyshire part of, I think I'm probably mispronouncing that. Derbyshire is how it's spelled. Part of England. It's about the middle of the country. It's actually like a county in the middle of the country. And they have a distillery called White Peak Distillery. If you saw the thumbnail, you saw their logo. They've actually only been there since 2016. They are brand new to the scene. They're the first distillery in the area. But since then, they've been creating some great whiskey. Their very first one didn't come out till February of 2022. So I'm excited to try 4 different expressions of that here tonight. Now, I have not had this before, so it's going to be an honest first impression as usual with this channel. Also, I bought these myself, so they weren't sent to me by the brand. So full honest opinion of these, but I'm very, very excited to get into them. So let me know what you guys have been drinking on over the past couple weeks, because I've been gone and I've been not drinking much bourbon. I do want to start with something a little different than those whiskeys first, because this one's so different from it, but it's still relevant. Another bottle I picked up while I was there was this. This is East London Liquor Company. This is a London rye whiskey finished in Chardonnay casks. So this one is a cask strength release. It comes in at 57.6% ABV. It's non-chill filtered. And it's, you know what? I look at I changed my mind. We'll save that for the end, so stick around for that review. I just realized it's higher proof than everything we're drinking tonight, and I don't want to throw off my palate for these single malts. So stick around to the end, and I will try a rye whiskey distilled in London, which I've enjoyed. I already have an opinion on, but we'll save it for the end. So little tease you a little bit there. Let's see. Let's say hello to a few folks in the chat. Taste and Sensibilities here. What's up, Doug? Good to see you. Aaron says, I've never heard of Wireworks. This will be fun. Yeah, so Wireworks is the name of the line of whiskey. The distillery is called White Peak Distillery. I was a little confused too, because like their gift set just says Wireworks, but that's just the name of the lineup. But yeah, it's White Peak Distillery. Bourbon Noob is joining us from Hawaii. Good to see you, Patrick. Hope you're doing well. Zophir's here as well. Chris all the way from Australia. Brandon's here. What's up, guys? Tony Bag of Donuts. Chris says, hey, Cliffy, Lil is excited as Reacher is here in Brisbane to film some scenes for a new movie this weekend. Oh, awesome. I probably know the movie if it's an Amazon movie, because we're filming a few things with him right now. That's very cool. Oh, sounds better. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize until it went live that it was using my webcam mic, so glad I caught it early on. Joe's here. What's up, Independent Joe? Y'all go check out his channel along with Taste and Sensibility. Other great Whiskey Tube channels around here. Brandon says, did you go to Buffalo Trace in London? I did. I actually stopped in their gift shop. I wasn't planning on it. I just walked by it. I'm like, wait, that says Buffalo Trace. So I went there. They had tastings of like regular Buffalo Trace and the Traveler. I didn't do a tasting, but it was cool to see. They had some cool merch. I didn't buy anything, but I did make a visit there. Beer in England with someone cool. Tiki drinks in Omaha and Mai Tai in Honolulu. That's right. I actually met up with Patrick in London. So that was a lot of fun. We went to the Whiskey Exchange, bought a few bottles, and I ended up. Those will be actually. I think these bottles are the ones I bought there, right? I'm pretty sure these are the ones I bought while I was with you. Yeah, because these are the London ones. Okay, Yeah, so great seeing him, and also great spending money with him on bottles. Okay, so we'll save the London Rye whiskey for the end. Again, completely unrelated to the rest of these, but I thought it was fun because y'all know I love rye whiskey. Um, let's go ahead and get started, right? We have three different of their regular releases. We have the Virgin Oak. You can see here, Virgin Oak Single Malt English Whiskey. This one comes in at 50.5% ABV, so just over, it's 101 proof. There is a bourbon barrel that is lightly peated. So let's see, I'll show that one. Single malt whiskey, bourbon barrel. In this, if you look at the side, it says style lightly peated. Bourbon cask, 53.4% ABV. And lastly, oh, actually, you know what? They all say lightly peated. They're all lightly peated. Ignore me. So there's a virgin oak, a bourbon cask, and there's this one called Caduro. Now, I'm not really sure what that is, so I have their website to kind of help me with this naming. Let's see, come on, focus. There we go. There's this one. And this one comes in at 46.8%, so it is the lowest ABV. It's just the cask is STR/bourbon. So I'm hoping that maybe there's some info here on their website. Like I said, they have a whole line of these Wireworks whiskeys. Let's see if I can pull up let's see. I guess I have to go to the individual shop pages. So let me see if I can pull up that one. That's the only one that I don't know much about. Here we go. Now this one says, matured in a combination of American and French oak, both first fill ex-bourbon and White Peak's signature STR cask, which is reconditioned wine barriques that have been shaved, toasted, and recharred. STR, shaved, toasted, recharred. So this one's a fun one. I think this was probably the one I'm going to, even though this one is the lowest ABV, it's 56.8, I do want to wait on that one, because I think I'd like to try the virgin oak first, then the bourbon barrel, and then that one. I kind of want to see that kind of journey with it. And then lastly, I do have one additional whiskey from this distillery, and it's actually an independent bottling. So this one, there's an independent bottler in London, or I don't know if they're in London, but in England, called the Heart Cut. And they have a bunch of different distilleries where it's not just English whiskey. They have a lot of Scotch distilleries as well. But this is a single malt whiskey, single cask bottling, one of 527 bottles from White Peak Distillery as well. And this one is their tawny port barrel. So this was distilled in 2020, bottled in 2024. So 4 years old and 110 proof. So we have a lot of variety here. We got virgin oak, we got bourbon oak, we got wine cask, port cask, and then of course ending it with some rye whiskey. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. If so, hit the thumbs up button. It does help out the channel. Especially when I disappear for a couple weeks, I feel like YouTube stops promoting channels after a little bit. So if you got notified that you're here, let me know in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Also want to shout out this amazing hat that I made myself. This is available on my new website. Most of you guys already know, bourbonbites.com. There's a link to it down below. It's really cool. It's actually like stitched. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like really nice. I have a series of pastels. I have some generic colors of them. I love this hat. Honestly, I'm going to wear this like not just for the channel. It actually just came in last week, so I'm very, very excited. If you want to check those out, check out the website. But you can also become a member of the Bite Club on the website, which is basically what my Patreon is/was. I'm hoping to get as many people as possible to move over from Patreon over to bourbonbites.com. Now, the perks are the same. You're getting the exact same benefits. The benefit of being on bourbonbites.com is, one, more of the percentage of your money goes to me, the creator, which is great. And two, you can get discounts on merch for being a member. So not only are you having the exact same experience as you have on Patreon, you can even have an app that has my name on it, and you'll be notified when I post on it. But you get exclusive discounts just for being a member there. So check it out, bourbonbites.com. Would love to see some more folks join. I already have like eight of you are already members there, so I'm so excited to have you there. Always welcoming new members. You can join for as little as $2 a month. It does help out a lot. Oh, let's see. Emily's here. What's up, Emily? Cheers to you. Yes, thanks for dropping Doug's link. Whiskey Pear says, I love virgin and French oak. Cavalon, Mithuna, Paul John, Glenallachie, Deanston, and many others. One of my favorites, but rare because it's expensive. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm excited to see how it is. What's up, Perry? We got This Is My Bourbon podcast in the chat. One of my fellow Thursday night live streamers. Y'all gotta make sure to subscribe to his channel, check out his podcast. I'm pretty sure y'all already know him. So, what's up, Perry? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I know you mentioned my stream on yours, so cheers to you. I learned a lot about English whiskey from Vin at No Nonsense Whiskey. Oh, interesting. Okay, I am subscribed, but I don't think I've watched an English whiskey video, so I will have to go check that out after this stream. But I'm going into this with no impressions, first reaction of these whiskeys. So I need to get with you about that website stuff. Yes, Perry, I think you would benefit from it as well. Especially, there's a way to do a tipping system on there that's kind of functions like Snuffy Chats. Message me, because I can actually give you a referral link that benefits us both. So if you're curious, just message me. We'll chat. I'm enjoying it so far, though. All right, let's go ahead and go ahead. Let's get started with the. Let me see what order they put it in here, just to make sure. Yeah, so they're doing bourbon / virgin oak, bourbon, and then the STR bourbon. So let's do the virgin oak. Bourbon / virgin oak, 50.5. So this is 101 proof. Now, some of their releases are cask strength. They also have lower proof versions of all their releases. This gift set kind of mixes and matches. It gives you the cask strength and it gives you like the little bit lower proof one. So it's kind of a fun way to try them. I can also talk pricing as well as we go through these. So I'm going to pour the virgin oak. Interesting color on that. For it being, well, we don't know the age of this one, do we? Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say. I don't have the, unlike this one that shows me when it was distilled, this one does not show me. But I'm assuming since they just started in 2016, it's going to be relatively young. So it's got a nice, like, bit of like a golden, it's a little more in like the gold territory than like the amber, for sure. But definitely some nice color on that. I'm assuming 4 years, that's how old this other one is, so I'm just going to make the assumption it's 4 years old. I don't know for sure, but I do have, I can pull it up here. Like I said, they have a listing for all of their items on their website. Let me see. Bourbon barrel, port wine barrel, virgin oak. Let's see. So the price of this is 65 pounds. Conversion, let me just do I can't do it in my head. 65 pounds to USD comes in at $84. That's the price on this one. Let's see if they have an age here. So bourbon and virgin oak it doesn't give you an age statement. So maybe the full-size bottle will show you, but the little sample does not. Virgin oak was my nickname in high school. Well, at least you had the wood referenced. I mean, they could have called you virgin. I don't know. I was going to try to think of something flimsy, but I don't know. Virgin slinky. I don't fucking know. Anyways, let's move on to giving this a nose. Ooh, okay. Definitely malt forward. It is a single malt whiskey. It does remind me a lot of a bit of a Highland Scotch. Now, of course, this is in the UK, which is also home to, all of, like, a lot of major distilleries are in the UK in general, but this is one of the few English distilleries. So it's interesting they take a lightly peated approach, which is not something I would expect. There's a little bit of a sea salt kind of note, like the brininess that I do really appreciate. But it's definitely grain forward, like a bit of a young oak. It's definitely not coming across as like a very old whiskey. And I said I don't have any additional info other than what they tell me, that it's a virgin oak, lightly peated. They give me tasting notes, but I don't like reading tasting notes. They do say a vatting of lightly peated single malt whiskey, initially matured in premium first fill X bourbon barrels, and then finished for several months at a lower ABV in virgin American oak barrels, with their select range of toast and char. So, as with the bourbon one, they actually interesting. Okay, so this one's a finished one. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's change up the order a bit. I want to make sure I taste through these in a way that makes sense. It sounds like that one's actually a finished version, so that makes me think we should start with the bourbon cask, right? I mean, tell me if I'm crazy, but this is the one that says bourbon barrel. I was thinking virgin oak would be the first one to start, but I think this one should be the first one because this one is exclusively aged in bourbon casks. So let me backtrack a little bit. We're still going to get to all of these. It just might change up the order here a little bit. What's up, Adam? Adam's here in the chat. Good to see you. Doug says most of the English malts will be pretty young. I figured my expectations are not up there as with like Scotch or Irish whiskey. I know this is going to be a bit more crafty, but I'm okay with that. I appreciate it. I can appreciate a well-made young whiskey. So let's back up. Pretend we didn't just do that intro to that. We're gonna go to the bourbon barrel cask. Same price, 65 pounds. Lightly peated, 53.4% ABV. So a little bit higher proof. Yes, our first ever ex-bourbon barrel only fully maturation, featuring some of the oldest casks in our warehouse. Pure, unadulterated Wireworks whiskey. Ex-bourbon barrels are considered a relatively inactive cask strength, so shine a light on the distillery's unique spirit character. Yeah, so this should be the true starting place. Color-wise, quite a bit lighter. I mean, the other one was, like I said, like a golden. This is definitely more of like a pale gold, almost like a I'm not good at naming colors, but it's like, I was gonna say it's like a tarnished gold, or it's like something that's like kind of rubbed off, like like a gold finish, and it's kind of starting to wear down a bit. I don't know. Again, I'm not a color expert, but it is a lot lighter than the virgin cask. Let's go and give that one a nose. Also, I'm like struggling with allergies a bit. It's been really warm here, like coming back from the cold weather of especially Amsterdam. Amsterdam was so cold. Coming back to like 70 plus degree days has really messed up with my system. So thankfully I still can smell and taste, but I'm a little congested, as you can tell. Okay, this one actually, okay. That one is definitely, the virgin oak one had that bit of that oak, strong like backbone. Like I said, it has like a young oak note. This doesn't have that. This is missing that element. This is actually just the malt grain that I can smell, which is good. It means this is just the truest expression of just their distillate. So I do like the nose. I do love that they're doing it cask strength. That's something you don't see very often, especially with craft distilleries. I don't know if I should call this a craft. They just started in 2016. I feel like that's a relatively new distillery, and I know craft distilleries get a bad connotation sometimes, but to me, I consider this on the level of a craft distillery as we would have here in the US. Yeah, so I like the nose. Nothing overly complex, definitely. You can tell that there's some proof on it. A little bit of a, maybe that's the smoke. I was gonna say there's a little bit of like a strong, like, I don't say like I guess like a char note. I guess kind of like a burnt. Like you put something in the oven and you like burned it a little bit too much, like some toast. You get a little bit of that. All right, enough smelling. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Mm. Well, that'll clear the sinuses real quick. Interesting. Okay. Different. It's different, but there's something familiar about it, and I think it's because the smokiness isn't peaty necessarily. It does say lightly peated, but it's more of like that kind of like less of the peat and more of just this smoke, like an ashy kind of smoke. Something I get on whiskeys that are not from Isla, but like that are smoky. Like I said Highland earlier. I don't know if that's necessarily right. Isn't there like a pretty famous lowland distillery that does some peating? I feel like this reminds me of a lowland distillery that I've had that does like a lightly peat or something unique, or it could be a Highland maybe. I know there's a few that do a peat, but it's a very light, definitely not a big, bold, rich peat. So this one's definitely like, I don't want to say unique because like if you told me this was Scotch, I would 100% believe it's Scotch, but it has a lot of character, and I think the proof is really helping it out there. Mm. Second sip, now that I'm acclimated to the palate a little bit, it's grain forward, but not in an off-putting way. And I say off-putting because some of you know I'm not the biggest fan of cereal grain kind of notes on a whiskey, especially like a Highland Scotch. This one is more evolved. It's almost like the grains or the malted barley is like, I don't want to say like roasted, but it's kind of like, it's like the difference between like a roasted coffee bean and like a raw coffee bean. It's like it has a bit of that roasty charriness on it. Really, really balanced though. Not having to search too much for flavor notes. It's very, I don't want to say one note, but it's very it's not overly complex, basically. but it's a good proof. It's a good flavor profile, and I'm actually quite a fan of it. I think if this is their base, we can only go up from here because we're gonna take this spirit from these ex bourbon casks and we're gonna finish it in virgin cask, wine cask, and port cask. So it should be a lot of fun working our way up the lineup. So I will keep that. Emily, that actually is a great call out. Sounds like Deanston in a good way. That actually, as someone that's a huge Deanston fan, you were on point with that because Deanston especially, it takes on so well to all the different finishes because it, or not necessarily finishes, but just the extra maturation because the base spirit is that good. So actually, Emily, that is a great comparison. As a Deanston fan, I can probably agree with that. Now, what I would love to do, now that you put that idea in my head, the last one I'm going to be trying is a port cask release of this. I'd love to grab one of my Deanstons. I don't know if I have a port, but I definitely have a cream sherry cask. I would love to do a side by side. So thank you, Emily, for the idea. Love it. See, y'all are so much smarter than me. That's the reason y'all are here. And thank you so much for dropping the bourbonbites.com link. Like I said, merch is there. You can sign up for a newsletter there. You can join the bike club and just support me however. You can drop a tip. There's a tip jar to buy Cliffy a drink. If you're ever interested in that, definitely definitely let me know if you leave a tip because I want to. It doesn't always notify me for things like that. So if you guys ever leave something and I miss it, please just tell me. Like message me on Instagram, message me on Discord. But yeah, so thank you to all 8 members on bourbonbites.com. I'll give y'all a shout out. Why not? Because I want to thank you guys for being there. So shout out to our friends, Pirate Fred, Bourbon Noob, who's here in the chat. What's up, Patrick? We got the Brennickies, of course, Adam Free, of course, Don Nishida, Zopher, Tony, and Michael. So thank you all so much for joining the Bike Club. I see you, I recognize you, and I appreciate you making the jump from Patreon. However, if you're more comfortable with Patreon, absolutely keep it. It will still be going. But this is just kind of a way to put the power more into my hands as a creator, is how I feel about it. So, cheers. Buy Cliffy a twisted tea. You know, Cliffy would not turn down a twisted tea. Maybe like after the stream, like in the after party, but not on stream. All right. Now we're going back to what we were doing. Let's go back to the virgin oak, which is what I thought was the original, but actually it's finished in virgin oak casks. So this is what we're moving on to now. Virgin oak. There we go. Virgin oak. 50.5%. This is the 101 proof one. Originally aged in ex-bourbon cask, then finished in a charred virgin oak barrel. I'm excited. Like I said, quite a bit darker color than the bourbon cask. Let's give it a nose now that we know what that smells like. Yeah, I mean it's exactly what I said. It's a similar note. You can definitely smell that base spirit, but there's an added layer of a bit like a new oak to it. Like it's like you can tell. Now when I say new oak, that's kind of funny because like new oak, virgin oak, I mean it more of like the fact that this is not a very old barrel. I feel like this barrel was made especially to age this whiskey. It was charred and it was finished for a short period of time in that barrel. That's kind of what it smells like. That's what I imagine. But the virgin barrel definitely imparted quite a bit of color on this. So I'm excited to see how it affects the palate. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Oh, that brings out some more of a. That's interesting. You know how I said the first one wasn't overly complex? This adds some layers of complexity. One, I think it mellows out the intensity of the first one. Even though the first one's a little bit higher proof, this one feels a little bit more balanced throughout. But there's a bit of a sweetness, and it's almost like a tart sweetness. And I'm trying to relate it to something maybe like a fruit sweetness, like maybe like a pear. I'm trying to think of something that's like sour when you first bite into it, but then it goes sweet. Definitely not like a Granny Smith apple. That's a bit extreme. But I'm thinking of something like maybe a pear or maybe a plum. I mean, I haven't had a plum in forever. Emily, you're the pro with these things, but it's like a little bit sour, but then goes very, very sweet. That's really interesting. Huh. I'll go for a second sip of that. That's definitely, I prefer that one. I'll say that. To me, it adds a layer of complexity. Even though it is a little bit lower proof, it tastes more balanced, has a little bit more uniqueness. I like that twist at the end. It's a little bit sour, a little bit sweet. It's a bit of like a, you know what it, okay, hold on. My brain is like connecting the dots. It reminds me of the element from Baller whiskey from St. George that I actually like. I'm not the biggest fan of Baller, so Baller's matured in casks that previously held fermented plums or like plum wine, something in that realm. It does remind me of that note, but it's not the funky weird part of it. It's just like the fruit part of it. I like that a lot. I would buy this. This if I were gonna buy a full bottle, so far this would be the one I would buy over the bourbon cask. The Virgin Oak to me is more fun. It's definitely a more fun finish. Emily says it's an interesting idea. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I guess it would be similar to like with bourbon. You know how you could do like a double oaked bourbon because they do something similar, right? They take it from the original Virgin Oak cask, which we all know is used to make bourbon, but then they finish it in another highly charred or freshly charred cask. So I'm interpreting it a bit like a double oaked bourbon or even a toasted bourbon. So it's kind of impacting those similar flavors. To me, it's less of the marshmallow sweetness that I get on a toasted bourbon, and definitely more of a fruity sweetness. But in like a not a red fruit, more of like a orchard fruit. I don't know what you call it, like a pear. Perry said, "Should I get a beer?" Well, I didn't have to answer because beer it is. You got some answers in the chat. Yes, I actually thought about getting. I thought about getting a beer that was like from England to kind of start the stream, but I'm like, I already got 5 whiskeys to drink. Let me get through the whiskeys. We'll go to the after party. We'll see if I have room for a beer. But hope to see some of you there. Most of you know, but we do an after party hangout after every Thursday night live stream for everyone $10 and up on Patreon or the Bite Club. If you're curious, there is a free trial of that. So if you want to get in on that and see what the after party is all about, just let me know. Whiskey Pierce said, I had Sing Tao from China before the stream. Nice. Matthew Parks in the chat. What's up, Matthew? I gave you a shout out earlier. I was shouting out everyone that had joined the new website. So hope you were doing well. Better late than ever. No worries. Good to see you here. Perry got a heart. I actually drank one of those 2 nights ago. I still had some left over from my Irish whiskey stream. So or my Irish beer stream. So that was still my favorite. I love it. Didn't expect to like it. Pear and Plum definitely have a skin of tartness and a sweet flesh. Exactly. That's exactly the note I get. And it works really well with this whiskey. I guess the closest thing I have to an English malt is in my glass. 40 to 46% ABV. So actually, that's what's interesting about this, Matthew. You missed it at the beginning, but these are all relatively high proof. The first one that I had, 53.4%. The second one is 50.5, so 101 proof. This was a gift set, but I'm surprised to see them put higher proof whiskeys as part of the set. That to me gets me excited. Because I love when it's not just like an 80 proofer. Like, I get it. Like, yes, it's an entry to your brand, but if you're trying to impress someone and they're willing to buy a freaking gift box set, you should put your good stuff in there to make them actually fall in love with it and not just be like, it's fine. That's how I feel. That's definitely how I feel about it. All right, we got one more of the gift set, and then we're going to move on to the independent bottling cask release. So we're going to keep that in my glass. I'm gonna come back and say which one's my favorite. But we're going to move on to this last one, which is the one that I didn't know anything about until I started the stream. Because I procrastinate, like, all the time. Come on. All right, Wireworks Caduro. Now this one is the lowest proof here. This one is 46.8%. Lightly peated as with the other ones. And STR/bourbon cask. Which we learned, based on their website, STR is the description of their secondary cask. And that stands for, why did I lose it? Oh my gosh, I just had it. There we go. That stands for shaved, toasted, and recharred. So they basically, they put it into a reconditioned wine barrel that has been shaved, toasted, and recharred. This one actually is their most affordable part of the lineup. This one is 60 pounds. So about a 5 pound cheaper than the other ones. Again, lower proof, so kind of makes sense there. Yeah, so it's 100% natural color, non-chill filtered, as with all of these. This won a IWSC Gold Award in 2023. Not really sure what that stands for. International Whiskey Society Club? I don't know. It probably stands for something important. But it was judged based on the judges from that competition. They say it's deliciously soft, as sweet peat smoke aromas flow into green apple, vanilla fudge, and honey on the palate. Well, I don't like reading too many taste notes before I get into a whiskey, but that does sound delightful. So let's go ahead and pour this. Now remember, this one was the combination of American and French oak, both first fill ex bourbon and then their STR cask, which is the French oak casks. International Whiskey and Spirits Competition. Okay, thank you, Perry. Like I said, you guys are here because you're much smarter than me. What did I say? International Whiskey Society Club. I mean, I was like got the first half of it right. Yes, Richard. Let's go ahead and pour this one. Donnie is here. Good to see you, Donnie. He said, Miss Linus Cat and I are late. We were at dinner with friends. Well, it's definitely a good reason to be late, but now you will join us for drinks with friends. But cheers, Donnie. Thank you for stopping in. All right, this one color-wise is pretty similar to the Virgin Oak. A little bit darker, quite a bit darker than the Virgin Cask. Quite a bit darker than the Bourbon Cask, about the same as the Virgin Cask. There we go. So many words rhyme. All right, let's go and give this a nose. Okay. Definitely does not have that malt grain quality that I was getting on the first two. This one's even more like evolved. Like it's more of a darker, richer, almost like a spicier note, which kind of makes sense, right? I get that a lot with French oak. For me, French oak imparts a unique spiciness to whiskey that I love it mostly in Maker's Mark, which is a wheated bourbon. But when I see French oak, it always immediately triggers a bit of like a spice note in my at least smelling or palate, whatever. And so far, I'm liking that quite a bit. Perry's doing something with him soon. Oh, only reason it's a friend of mine. No worries. I appreciate the info. Great King Street Glasgow blend. I don't know if I can. Is that it? No. It's there. It's behind the Highland Park. I have that same bottle. Love that one. Yeah. So let's go ahead and go for a taste of the what do they call it? Caduro. Does that word mean anything, or is that just a name? It sounds like it would mean something. I don't know. Smart people, let me know. All right, cheers. Okay. So, I have thoughts. They're good. They're good thoughts, but I can tell that this one is the lower proof entry. It's pretty significantly obvious to me that it's not as much of a punch as the first two. This actually might be their flagship release. Like I said, it's their lowest price, but you would think something like this would be like a special release. They have a cask strength version, which I unfortunately don't have. I have the regular proof version. So if you see a cask strength version of the Caduro, definitely check it out because I feel like this is muted quite a bit too much for me. So for me, yes, it does have those French oak notes, which again, Aaron nailed it here. French oak spice, vanilla, bacon. Yes, definitely vanilla. The vanilla is there as well. It's there and it's good, but I feel like at this proof, and maybe it's same with higher proof, it almost overshadows the spirit itself. It's almost overpowering. Now with this being already lower proof, it's like it doesn't give the whiskey itself much room to shine. Let me take a second sip before I judge too harshly. Yeah, I feel like everything I loved about the Virgin Oak one, which had that like bit of that pear or that plum, this I can taste that it's there, but it is buried. It is buried by that sweet vanilla or like a sweet and spicy is kind of an interesting combination, but it's definitely muted. You're missing out on the grain itself from the bourbon cask and the interesting finish from the virgin cask. So for me personally, this one is actually not my favorite. It's actually my least favorite of the three. But that's not to say it's not good. It is good, but I think I would rather try either one, the neutral spirit as itself in a ex bourbon cask, and the finished virgin oak. Those to me are more exciting, more unique, and just more impressive whiskeys in general. This one though, they have a cask strength, like I said, and I'd love to try that one. Unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me. Not necessarily saying that's going to make it better, but it just feels a little bit too muted for me to appreciate as much as I appreciate the other two. Caduro was a type of cobbling that they made at that site. I would assume before it became a distillery. I don't even know what. Cabling? Like cables? I don't know. I was thinking like a cobbler, but that's spelled C-O-B. Donnie says, hopefully see you all in after party. I got a long nap earlier and I'm off work tomorrow. Well, I will be there, Donnie, if no one else is. Oh, yeah, no, it's not. It's Caduro. C-A-D-U-R-O. Bradley's in the chat. Cheers to you, my friend. And Donald Rance. Good evening, folks. On my way home from work. Well, Donald, I hope to see you in the after party later as well. All right, so that was the core lineup from the gift set. But like I said, we got one extra bottle of White Peak Distillery that I'm very, very excited for. I've not tried this yet. I'm very excited. If you missed the beginning of the stream, this is a release from the Heart Cut, which is an independent bottler. I don't know if they're entirely based in the UK. I don't know if they have all their info here. It is made for the UK market. But, oh yeah, you know what? It's based in London. So think of it like a Single Cask Nation. Think of it like a Scotch Malt Whisky Society, maybe. But it is an independent bottler. Douglas and Lang. I mean, there's so many of them. Old Particular. Think of it as that, but it's a London one that focuses not only on English spirits, but they also do some scotches and things like that as well. I wanted to grab this one because this is the same distillery we've been drinking all night. White Peak Distillery. English Single Malt Whisky Single Cask. One of 527 bottles. There's some tasting notes there. By the way, those sound amazing. Burnt ends, stewed plums, raspberry seedless jam, bacon frazzles. I don't even know what a frazzle is, but I love bacon. And cola bottles. Cola bottles, is that talking about the candy? Or like, because it says cola bottles versus like cola itself. You know those like chewable candies that are like, no, those are like bottle caps. Those were different. I don't know. But the most important info is here at the bottom, which I should have shown you before I pulled it away and I lost my focus. Tawny port casks, distilled on February 10th, I'm assuming. Yeah, February 10th, 2020. And bottled on September 24th, 2024. So just over about 4.5 years old. Yeah, I'll make sure that mathed up, right? Yeah, but this is tawny port cask. I'm really excited to see how this does. Now, again, this is cask strength. So where I complained about the French oak cask influencing the Caduro version negatively, I'm hoping that this extra proof gives us the edge it needs. Oh, I imagine they're probably really good. I do know that the folks over at the Whiskey Exchange were selling me on these Heart Cut releases. Apparently, they are very well respected over there. Same way that kind of we think of Single Cask Nation. So I'm excited. I have a lot of hope in this bottle, and I hope it's as good as it sounds and as expensive as it was. It wasn't that bad, actually. It was about 80 pounds for this 375. So full size would have been about 160. So it's a bit much, but especially compared to their regular shelf bottles. Great coming in. I agree. Getting any peat on the palate, Matthew. The way that the peat expressed itself to me was more of a light smokiness, almost like an ashiness. Not what I would expect a peat to be. It definitely does not taste like an Islay. If anything, it's kind of like a Highland or a Lowland whiskey that has a little bit of peat, but it's definitely not like a super smoky smoke bomb. It's definitely very, very light. If you're opposed to peat, you're not gonna have a problem with this. If you love peat, you're still gonna be fine with it, but you're not gonna find that love for peat. I mean, it does say lightly peated, so that's my thoughts. You like the name? I agree. Caduro refers to their cask reconditioning process specific to Wireworks, as far as I can tell. Gotcha. Okay. Tawny port maturation already sold me on it. Haribo definitely makes cola bottle gummies. I love them. Frazzles, bacon bits. Oh, you know what? That could be it. That could just be what they call bacon bits. Bacon frazzles. I like it. All right, let's go and give a nose to the tawny port cask finish. Oh wow! Whoa! So different. Whoa! Let me see if I can pull up something about this one. That is so different. Wireworks tawny port Heart Cut. Let's see if I can find something. Here we go, the heart cut. Let's see, what do we have here? Number 10, this is it, I found it. It says, move over, Isla. If there were ever a whiskey to epitomize winter, this would be it. A touch of smoke, a sweetness from the tawny port cask. This cask has it all. Unashamedly bold, big, smoky, sweet, and perfectly in balance. By the way, if you buy it from them directly, it's 59 pounds. Now again, it's a 375, so for the full, like a full 750 would be around 120. But that's a very fair price. Yeah, I thought there would maybe be a little bit more info here, but it's basically the same thing that's on the bottle. So I appreciate the transparency. Yeah, but very, very different. On the nose, it's definitely leaning to more fruity. Less of the plum. But not, I know they say raspberry, I'm not getting raspberry. I'm getting a bit of a, it's almost like a grape. Like an over-ripened grape, if that makes sense. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I've been fortunate enough where I've tried grapes off of the vine of a vineyard, which don't taste anything like store-bought grapes. They have quite a bit more acidity to them, but it has a bit of that element to it. I will say, was strawberry one of the notes? Because I do get strawberry. No, it just says raspberry seedless jam. I interpret that as strawberry. I do like it. Well, Fred says wine, yes, but it's more of the fruit. It's so sweet. Like the wine itself, I wouldn't interpret as sweet. I mean, if you're gonna compare it to a wine, it's like muscadine wine, like that level of sweetness. Definitely less than just like a straight wine influence. Also, hi Fred. I ate that grape once. Yeah, funny enough, it was when I was in shoot, was it Temecula? It was in one of the wine regions here on in Southern California. But we stayed at like a hotel that was walking distance from a brewery, and like on the way to the brewery was like just like vineyard, like grapes they grew, and the hotel actually made their own wine from those grapes that they grew on property, which was really cool. But like I did take a little taste of them. I think they were Cabernet. They were used for like Cabernet wine. Okay, I've nosed this enough. I can't wait to give it a try. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Ooh. Oh wow. Oh yeah. I'm having to think on this one. Wow. Very different from both the virgin cask and the Caduro cask. However, that core element, the base distilled spirit, shines in this one as well. And that's really exciting to see. It doesn't have that plum sour sweetness thing at the end. Instead, it goes red fruit, which y'all know I love red fruit. Oh, I gotta go for a second sip. Yum. Mm. Mm-hmm. That tawny port really influences the flavor. Color wise, you wouldn't think so. It's still that same. Honestly, it's the same color as the other two. Maybe a slight bit darker than the Caduro and the Virgin Oak, but this one it definitely drinks like a premium whiskey, and I've said that before. To me, there's something about a whiskey that I can tell that it's not to say that it's expensive because like price is subjective, but to me, sometimes I'll drink a whiskey and I'll say that has an LE taste, like a limited edition taste. This has that. The single cask is exceptional. This is really good. If you're able to get this, like I said, it's still available on their website. I'll drop a link if anyone's curious. I bought it from the Whiskey Exchange, their store in London, but you can buy it directly from their website. I'm not sure where they ship. I don't know if it's international or not, but this is really good. Fred says high class. Yeah, to me, if it's complex, it has a great mouthfeel. I mean, this checks all those boxes. It reminds me of some of the better, heavily sherried scotches I've had. I know it's port, but some of the heavily sherried, especially like the PX sherry scotches, y'all know they're my jam, especially when compared with peat. So this, I'm really glad I bought this bottle. I bought this on a whim. I had not tried it. They let me try another one of their heart releases at the store. It was from a different distillery. I thought it was really good, but I really wanted to buy this one because I had the lineup from the rest of the Wireworks line. So I'm very, very glad I bought this. Delicious. I know I do still have one more comparison to do. We're also going to do the rye whiskey at the end, so stick around. We got about 13 more minutes. Hang with me. I promise it'll be worth it. Um, but Emily made a great point earlier in the stream that this kind of reminds her of, it sounds starting to sound a little bit like Deanston. And I really like that idea because I love Deanston. I do see the similarities. So what I would love to do is I would love to go back there, grab one of my Deanstons. I don't think I have a port cask Deanston, but I definitely have some sherry Deanstons. I'd love to get those and compare it directly with this tawny port because I see them very, very similarly. So let me go grab that. Let me do some digging on my shelf real quick. I know I have plenty of Deanston. Here we go. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is not the one I thought it was. I may have finished the bottle I was thinking about. It's okay. This will work. This isn't the one I was thinking of, though. I thought I still had the cream sherry, but I must have finished that. So this is a release. This is the Bordeaux red wine casks. Actually, I think Fred was with me when I bought this. I think I bought this in Memphis, if I remember correctly, or Vegas. I can't remember. One of those two. I'm pretty sure Fred was with me. But so a little bit different than what I was looking for. But let me go ahead and pour it anyways, just to make the comparison. It's cask strength. It is red wine finish, so it's close enough. Now, color-wise, the Deanston is quite a bit darker. It's also 9 years old, right? Obviously, the stuff from Wireworks or what is the distillery? White Oak Distillery, White Peak Distillery. It's not that old, but this is the Deanston. You can tell color-wise, quite a bit darker. Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't the release I was hoping it was because the cream sherry one is very sweet and very red fruit. This one, and it's probably not going to compare. It's probably not going to be a fair comparison. Let me just try it anyways. Not totally off base, but not similar enough to make me feel like these two are comparable. Let me go back to the tawny port real quick. Just a quick comparison. They're in the same wheelhouse. I mean, I think they're very different whiskeys, but I think if you like one of them, you're going to like the other one. They're the same flavor profile. So if you know you're a fan of Deanston, especially those finished or those red wine cask Deanstons, I think you're going to really like this one. I would have loved to compare it to like the either the port cask Deanston or the cream sherry. I'll have to buy another bottle of that to do the comparison, but this is on the level of Deanston, which is one of my favorite distilleries. Definitely my favorite Highland distillery out of them all. Yeah, dang. So does this prove my point that I made? The question that I asked in the description: can England make great whiskey? And this proves absolutely. I mean, two of these I really loved. I loved the Virgin Oak one, which was the ex-bourbon cask that was finished in Virgin Oak. I love the Tawny Port one for sure. Both of these are absolutely worth buying, especially if you are overseas and you get your hands on a bottle. I'm not sure if they ship to the US. Again, I bought these while I was overseas. Definitely check your local markets. Let me know if you can find it. But I guess I'm a fan of English whiskey. I can check off another tick box on like whiskeys of the world. I did. Do you guys remember? Or you guys probably don't remember. I did a video years ago. It was like a independent bottling. I think it was a Single Cask Nation or Douglas, like, or even Compass Box. I don't know. Someone did a thing called Whiskeys of the World, and it was literally like 12 different types of whiskeys combined. I reviewed it on the channel years ago. I don't know if English whiskey was in there, but if it was, I'm not counting that as trying it. This is my first time trying actual English whiskey. And it's delicious. Love, love, love that. All right, we got about 8 minutes left. We're going to try one more whiskey tonight. Thank you all for tuning in so far. We got one more to go. This one's very different than what we've been drinking, so let me finish one of these off because we got to do a glass cleanse here. I only brought 5 glasses. Oh, that was the Virgin Oak one. God, it's so good. I almost feel like that one's like slightly... No. The Tony's definitely better. I almost was like slightly beats it, but no. Remembering how much I enjoyed that Tawny Port. Definitely changed it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to call up in the chat. Will need to find myself a bottle of Wireworks from either OB or the Hart Cup. Yes, definitely check it out. What happens? This is what happens when you get 2 Deanston lovers in a room. That's very true. 3, if you count Emily. The Deanston Bordeaux cask brew wouldn't be in the best ways. Oh my gosh, yes. You and Fred both convinced me on that bottle. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I do enjoy. Okay. I see. Well, that's why I said 3. I was like Emily, but okay, that was the point you were making. I got you. All right, let me rinse the glass, and we're gonna try something very fun. I'm excited. All right, we got one more whiskey from England to try. This one's a fun one. This one is London Rye Whiskey from the East London Liquor Company. Chardonnay cask. Yes, you heard that. There's a lot of words. A lot of words you don't expect to go together, right? London and rye whiskey and Chardonnay and cask strength and non-chill filtered. Okay. I'm just saying, this caught my eye. First of all, it has a bright highlighter yellow-green label on it, so that caught my eye as well. But this is a rye whiskey made from 100% rye whiskey from London, which is really fun. Let's see what they say here. They give you a ton of info on this bottle, by the way. So those are tasting notes. We're not going to look at that yet, though. Let's look at the cask data. I had it. 56% malted rye and 45% Maris Otter malted barley. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say 100%? Sorry. It's not 100% rye whiskey, but it is categorized as a rye whiskey because it's over 51%. Apologies. 55% malted rye, 45% malted barley, both from Norfolk. I think it's not pronounced Norfolk. I don't know. It blurred on me because I mispronounced the city. Oh, come on. If it doesn't do it, I'll read it myself. Okay. Double infusion mash at 65 degrees centigrade and 78 degrees centigrade. Water adjusted to pH 6. No enzymes used. 3,300 liter open top fermentation in stainless steel with no cooling. French and Belgian Saison yeasts only. 120 hour fermentation with 24 further hours rest before distillation. Oh, but that's not all. I told you, they tell you everything. They literally tell you everything. So here's the production data. So it shows you like the wash distillation, 650 liter hybrid still, partial condenser set to low. Hearts collected from 74.5% to 59.8%, distilled to 57.3%, and filled into a single second fill French Chardonnay barrel. Filled in 2018, disgorged. By the way, I love that name, disgorged, in June of 2023. That was a mouthful. I literally got tired holding that and talking while I was talking. So apologies for the word vomit. But I'm just showing you how transparent they are on this bottle. I thought that was really fun. Now, price-wise, London Rye Whiskey. Let's see what it comes up as. Proof, by the way, I said was 100 proof. Oh, did I? No, cask strength. So it's cask strength at 57.6% ABV. Pricing on this, well, that's the regular. The regular one is $65 US, but that's not the cask strength. Cask strength. Let's see. There's a single barrel of it for 87. I'm not seeing this particular bottle. Oh, here we go. 73 pounds. So 73 pounds is the price point on this. And I just thought it was fun. Why not try a rye whiskey from London finished in Chardonnay cask? Now, I would like to say that I've never had a Chardonnay cask, but I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, did Thomas S. Moore, that release from Barton, did they not have a Chardonnay cask? Because I feel like they did. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed a bourbon finished in Chardonnay casks. I don't remember liking it, but I remember trying it. Y'all know more than I do, correct me if I'm wrong. But this is exciting. Cask strength, Chardonnay cask, that's crazy. They did and it was bad. That's Fred, that's my memory too. My memory of it was I didn't enjoy it. So I'm glad to hear that I was right with that memory. Matthew said, I'd be interested if this tastes similar to Old Potrero Rise out of San Francisco. I've only had one of their releases, but I would love to visit more of their stuff. This definitely has a strong malted rye flavor. Like I said, this one is a malted rye. Malted rye is something that's kind of hit or miss for me. New Riff did a malted rye that I didn't really love, but I have had some malted ryes that I like. I also don't know if I love Old Potrero. I'll have to revisit that one. So I have mixed feelings about malted rye, but let's go into this with a fresh mind. Thomas H. Moore was iron root and finished. Gotcha. Chardonnay cask finished. Tasted like ferret. Oh gosh. Oh wow. Okay. I'm glad I wasn't wrong in that memory. All right, let's go and give a nose to the London Rye Whiskey. Oh, whoa, that is malty. That is definitely malty. It almost has a scent of like a sour. I've never had durian, but I've heard it described many ways. And this kind of smells like what I imagine durian smells like, but not nearly as intense. It's like a sour funk, a little bit like sweaty socks in locker room. I will say I don't love the nose. It's not my favorite nose. It has an earthy, mossy kind of note too. Oh, dairy smells like propane. Well, maybe I'm wrong. To me, this is more of like a stinky gem stock kind of. I mean, I could get some motor oil. Maybe not propane, but motor oil. Oh, off to a very good start. Yeah. No, no, the nose is not my favorite. But I will say I have tried this before, and it gets better. Stinky gem stock is common for many ryes. Okay, I've never gotten that on a rye before, but you know what? Now I'm gonna look out for it. Maybe it's a malted rye thing. Chris described it as a diesel smell. Okay, yeah, I think Chris was eating one like yesterday, right? I mean, honestly, I could see that in this nose as well. I mean, I don't know the last time I smelled diesel. I mean, other than like burning diesel, like in a vehicle. Okay, enough with that. Let's go for the taste. I'm done crapping on the nose of this one. Let's try it. Cheers. Okay. Mm, I know I said I like this one, but going back to it after trying this amazing single malt English whiskey, it's definitely not nearly as good. Honestly, like I feel like I was fooled into liking this when I tried it when I first got home. Because to me, it has a bit of a rubber kiddie pool taste. Or you know when like you blow up like a kiddie pool or you blow up like a pool floaty for kids and it's like that fake plasticky, the material, there's a smell to it. There's a little bit of that, and I don't like that at all. It's definitely not a flavor that I like. Let me try it again. I think it's interesting that I tried this a couple nights ago and I thought it was pretty good. What was I thinking? Yeah, I keep trying to find something that I like about it. It's definitely like a funky, overripened fruit, maybe apple. An overripe apple sounds like a better comparison because I've never had a durian. I can't say that. It just was what I imagined a durian. It's like an overripe, like you go to an apple orchard and there's some apples on the ground and they're starting to rot a little, and you smell that. That's kind of the flavor profile I'm getting. Not extremely off-putting. Like I can drink this, but I wouldn't choose to drink it because I would rather have something more delightful like the Wireworks whiskeys we've been drinking all night. It's hard seeing your opinion change in real time. But for real, I'd be interested in trying it if you're willing to send samples. Yeah, for sure. So this, yeah, I had my only preconceived notion of it was based on the fact that I tried it the day I got home, and I was like, hey, this is really good. But then I remembered that like this is the first whiskey I've had in 2 weeks, so it probably just tasted good because it wasn't gin, it wasn't a cocktail. So yeah, I like it. It's fun. But would I recommend buying it? No. Save your money. Get the Wireworks. Definitely the better buy for your money. But it's a fun try. I love the label. It's definitely eye catching. If you're in London, try it. But you're probably better off buying American rye whiskey. Let's be real. Even Canadian rye whiskey at high proof is a bit better than this. And I wonder if like my opinion would have changed a bit if I had tried it before, like I was about to do at the beginning of the stream. We'll see. We'll see. You might pair it better with something else. That's a good point. I mean, this was such a strong flavor. I can see it paired with some cheeses really well. Now, I'm not the person to do that. I'm not like a cheese sommelier, but I could absolutely see that being done. Because it's like stinky, funky, but like in a good way. Fred says we are going to do a tasting of these for the Bourbon Terabytes monthly tasting. That is a great point, Fred. Yeah, I don't usually talk too much about what we're going to do for the tasting because I don't want someone to sign up at the end of the month and like have missed it. But we are still early in the month, so if anyone's interested in trying the London Rye Whiskey along with several other bottles I bought in the UK, you can join our monthly tasting group, which is at the $50 tier, the Bourbon Terabyte tier on Patreon or bourbonbites.com. With that, you get a sample set, 5 1-ounce samples of what I've been enjoying lately. The London Rye Whiskey is going to be part of it. The Heart Cut's going to be part of it. And there's some other goodies I bought along the way. If you're interested in joining, please join soon because I'm happy to get those samples out in the next week or so. If you missed that, don't worry. I'll figure something out. But if you want to try these, that's the best way to join that tier. Even if you just join it for a month, check it out, try it out, and let me know what you think. Thank you, Fred, for the recommendation, though. Like I said, it's early enough in the month that I can say that. I just don't want to overpromise someone and then like they miss the tasting and then I like either run out of the whiskey or just don't have time to do the tasting. But I have plenty of this, so it's all good. Next meetup, who's bringing the durian? I surely will not. Chasing Sensibility says, welcome back. You survived Europe, and I survived New Orleans Bourbon Festival. Oh, man. I can't wait to hear all about that. You'll have to let me know how that went this year. I know we were there together last year, so hope it was a lot of fun. We'll chat. Let's chat offline, but I'd love to hear how it went this year. And thank you so much for the super chat. It does mean so much to the channel. Cheers to you, Doug. You guys go check out Chasing Sensibility over on his channel as well. All right. It's a blast. It is a blast, yeah. People that are at that tier really enjoy it. I try to promote it, but I get that $50 a month is a big commitment. You can always prepay for an entire year and get a discount, but I think I try to make it worth it. I mean, you get 5 samples a month times 12 months. You're getting about 60-something samples over the course of a year. That's how I like to think of it. So if you're interested, shoot me a message if you're curious. I can show you some previous lineups that we've done. But really, just you guys showing up every week means the most to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back after my hiatus of 2 weeks. I'll be live next week. Actually, I'll have a very similar stream to this one. I bought a bunch of French whiskey as well. I know, France makes whiskey too. So we're going to do French whiskey next Thursday night. Should be a lot of fun. Have not tried it. Hopefully, if it's anywhere as good as this, I'm in for a treat. So you guys make sure to tune into that next week. Make sure to hit the bell button to be notified when I go live. Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, all those good things. I love you guys. Hope to see you guys on Discord. If you're not yet on the Discord, it's open to everyone, not just Patreon. Everyone can join our Discord community. You are welcome there. It's a great community of friends, whiskey drinkers alike. And also, if you're a patron, you get access to some exclusive rooms like our monthly movie night, which is coming up soon. We'll have to pick a movie very soon. And our tasting room. So cheers. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping all the great info there. Have a great one. I will see you guys next week. And, sorry. What did I miss? I see Emily say, so sorry, Doug. What? Sorry, if I missed something. Okay, sorry. Maybe I didn't miss anything. All right, cheers, y'all. Take care, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye, guys.